Welcome back, everyone, to the War Room with news from Europe, or, well, the Pacific as well, I guess, when that's going to happen. This is World in Flames and Days of Decision, World in Flames 5th edition plus Days of Decision 3rd edition, which is combining two games with Australian Design Group created both of them, and when 5th edition was out, there was Days of Decision 1st edition out, but that one ends when World War II starts, so let's have some fun with politics throughout the war. Days of Decision 3 is designed for the Collector's Edition of World of Flames, but here on Tabletop Simulator, we have someone put up the 5th edition, so I'm using that. Also, the rules are a little bit simpler than Collector's Edition. So here we are. 1936. It is May-June. We're going to start May-June right now. And so far, it's been dramatic, I guess. If by dramatic you think Germany marching into the Rhineland last turn during March and April, which is exactly when it happened historically, is dramatic. Also, Italian intelligence operatives have apparently sent some spies into Spain, though Italy obviously denies any wrongdoing. Other than that, nobody's done much of anything. So we are getting to May-June now, and it is time for us to look at bids and who has bid what. And I have basically asked an AI to the bids for me to keep things a little bit suspenseful. So here we go. Secret bids. Italy bids 6 points, which is more points than it has. So the rest will come out of its cash box. 3 money right now. Germany bids 5, USSR bids 4, Commonwealth 5, France 4, Japan 3, the US 2, and China 2. That's a lot of bid points around here. Let's see who's going to have the actual tiebreakers here. Italy has +3, so 6 plus 3 is 9 in total. Of course, Germany has bid 6, has 4, which is also 9, so it's going to go first anyway because of the political efficiency and, of course, because of the initiative position. The USSR bids 4 plus 2 is 6. So these are both on 9s. That's a 6. We have an 8 for the Commonwealth, which is 5 plus 3, so they're going to go ahead of the USSR. France bids 4 plus 2, gives them 6. 6 is the same as the USSR, and France is currently more effective than the USSR, so it will go before the USSR. We have Japan at 3, gives them 4 in total, which puts them behind France. The US bids 2. Why are you bidding 2, US? For 3 in total, and China is bidding 1. Okay, so there we have it. Everybody's bidding something, and this is the new initiative order for doing politics. All right, let's see what everybody will do. Germany is up first again. Germany has bid, we said, 6 points out of the 9 it had. So it's down to 3 points left. I have a feeling that Germany will need to play a 0G soon to get some more bid points. It's going to play minor economic agreement, and initiative is going to be lower or equal to the willpower, I'm guessing here. Let's see. We're flipping this thing over. Here we go. War chart, willpower. Sweden! The willpower is a 2. Yes, that means that it can make a minor economic agreement with Sweden. I believe there's no roll involved because it's just making an economic agreement. Yep, no roll involved. So, it already has 1 resource from Sweden. It's gonna get another. Germany will pay 4 money for this. And brings it down to 2 money. Brings it up to 12 resources, of course. And that gives us 2 resources per turn from Sweden. And it gives us a +1 to Sweden as well, as a... Sweden likes doing business with major powers. So here we are. Sweden now has a +1 to Germany. Germany will activate a minor country. It will activate something with a minus, which is going to be Netherlands, Denmark, Netherlands, Denmark, Netherlands, Denmark. I don't know. One of them. How about Denmark? Boom. Activates Denmark. Denmark is not going to go anywhere because 1 movement point doesn't... It needs 2 movement points to move in the neutral zone, which is where it is. Let's show you. I haven't put all the neutral countries up on, because it's going to be such a big stack right here in the center, but they're off here on the side. So you'll find Denmark among them. All right. So that was that for Germany's play. So what can we say about that? Basically, Berlin announces a trade agreement the world barely notices. This month, Germany quietly formalized a new economic accord with Sweden, doubling the imports from the country in question. Officials describe it as a routine commercial arrangement meant to stabilize markets and encourage industrial cooperation. No particular speeches in the Reichstag, no parades, no ultimatums. Yet, analysts note that Germany's industry, already expanding at an alarming pace, has once again secured access to vital northern resources without violating any treaties. Where others test borders, Berlin tests contracts and win. In Paris and London, the agreement is filed away as unremarkable. History may disagree in time. All right, let's roll. And the turn does not end, so Italy gets to act, and Italy will play IPO 4, minor coup. Bum, bum. This, friends, means Italy has bid all the bid points and 2 money, and is now paying $5 for the option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's in debt now. Which means we're rolling for activating the coup cell in Madrid. Everybody is very surprised that Italy had placed a coup cell there. Is anybody really surprised? No, they're not. If you played things before, you are absolutely not surprised at all. But, of course, these political leaders had no idea what was going on. Let's see now. So, minor coup. We are looking here at the coup table. Coup modifiers, none of these will apply at the moment because we don't have the year here, but other things will apply. Let's see now. Your coup, roll a die. Subtract 1 from the result for each alliance the minor has with another major power. Add 1 for each alliance you have. Okay, the minor does not have any alliances with another power. Add 1 for each alliance you have. Italy has 2 alliances, so +2 to the die roll. And add the minor stability factor. And then we'll see. So, the stability factor for Spain is terrible because Spain... I've never seen this question mark. What is that question mark doing there? I have no idea. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, Spain, stability... Stability is a 3 on Spain. So was it add? Yes, add the stability factor. So it's a +5 on the die roll. And we're all a D10. So let's see what happens. Boom. That's a 2. I don't think this is going to be a civil war, folks. 2 + 5 is a 7. So it's a coup worth 2 dice. Okay then. For the first time in a long time when I've been playing this, the Civil War in Spain does not start. Coup. You roll 1 to 3 dice of political control. Coups do not remove alliances to the minor. When a coup The total rolled on the dice is the political modifier that the cooing or counter-cooing major power places in the minor, provided the minor country is one of the 28 with a political marker. Yes. All right, then. Roll 2d10. We're rolling a 1. This is going to be like the worst coup ever, isn't it? Is that a 1? Hey, did you roll a 1? Okay. That's because it didn't mark properly here. So I'm going to... Here we go. We are rolling. Why don't I add a d10? Okay. There we go. It's a 9 and it's 6. Okay. Or it's a 1 and a 9. So 10 points in total. Okay. Plus 10 to Italy. That's what we get for this. And Italy would be a fool not to use that immediately, so it can activate the minor power. That's going to be 10 points, and it's going to move 5 steps towards Italy, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the Spanish Republic. Okay, then. We do not have a civil war in Spain, ladies and gentlemen. But Spain, the Spanish Republic, has moved considerably towards the Axis. I'm not sure the Allies will like this a whole lot. All right. I guess overnight, violence erupted in Madrid. The old left-wing government collapsed, replaced by a right-wing government with Franco no longer in exile. I guess that's how I'm going to interpret that in terms of the events here. Big headlines in all the newspapers. Because Italy was not implicated, there is no US entry to this. Italy will now roll to see if the turn ends. This was probably like one of the better results. That wasn't a roll, that was just putting the die in the container. It could have had an 8, which would have been even better. But it was... When does it get... It's a counter coup if it's implicated? Okay. When do you get implicated? Just double checking that for my benefit here. No, seems I don't see what has to happen for the controlling power to be implicated right straight off the bat. I'm going to check that later. But it seems that Italy got away with this one. We're rolling d10 and seeing what happens if the turn ends or not. The turn actually does end immediately. The Commonwealth and none of the other countries get to do anything. Oh my. Then. That is not how I expected that turn to go, but it did. There we go. Okay, so let's see now. USSR bid 4 points. Did not get to act. So that is 6. Has an effectiveness of 2, so it gets 2 points back. Commonwealth bid 5 points and didn't get to do anything, sadly. So that's minus 5 down to 2, plus 3 for its effectiveness as a comfort price. France bid 4 points, is down to 3, and then plus 3 as a comfort point. So it's going to be at 6, yeah. Japan bid 3. Why is Japan bidding 3? Makes no sense, but there we are. And gets 2 points back because it didn't get to do anything. The US bid 2, gets 2 points back. China bids 1, gets 1 point back, so it's like always there. All right, that is it for the political action phase of this turn. Then, let's see who gets initiative this turn. We have a blue and a black die here to roll. That's not the roll, obviously. Here we go. Initiative for both sides. It's a 6 and a 4. 6 for the Allies. 5 for the Axis, actually. Axis don't care, so it's going to be an Allied initiative this turn. Okay. Getting Spain this close to the Axis on the diplomatic track, the status display, political status display, it's not a small deal. I have a feeling there will be other countries trying to get involved with this somehow. But if I roll like that, it's not going to be... They're not going to have a chance to do much, are they? Alright, let's go. We will have... Weather check. Weather roll. Again, no wars yet. I rolled a 2. And that means we're going to get here. We're going to clear everywhere except in subtropical where it is in fact mud. The impulse marker will go one step after both sides have acted. And if there was a war in China, either side would only get to do one attack per turn. But there is no war in China. Alright. The Allies don't really know that they have too much to do this turn. Suppose we could... We don't have any transports yet here. These are... What are the most long range? We have 5s here. Destroyers. And we have 6s. More 5s. Okay, so... The Commonwealth gets to do 2 naval moves on a combined, so... We'll grab these bad boys here. And send them from Scapa Flow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. And that is because it's peace, it's not the stack that counts, it's every individual ship that counts. Okay, we have a whole bunch of French stuff here. 1, 2, 3. I don't know how much we need the French stuff in the North Sea, since there's plenty of British stuff, so France can do how many naval moves? 1. Okay, so only the sub goes. And that is basically it. I don't know that the USSR cares too much to do much of anything at the moment. It needs more everything. So I guess that is it. It's a nice and calm and quiet summer in the world, and nothing much is happening. Axis impulse. You know what? Actually, no, France does have this 7-4, and given the recent developments in Spain, I think we're going to move this guy there. Just as a precaution. Just as a precaution. Because we don't want Spain to join the Axis. That's about the long and the short of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, so rebasing some aircraft to Toulouse. It's just an exercise, it's just a drill, but we can't have Spain join the Axis here. Alright, the Axis side. We have 1 infantry left there. We have actually had a community vote on the Facebook page World in Flames Players, and that community vote will dictate the grand strategy for each country here. You can go over to that Facebook page to check what's going on, and I'm going to respond accordingly. We have plenty of subs, we have a destroyer group, we have Badoglio, we have transport. This guy is unflipped, thank you very much. Which means that we currently don't have a civil war in Spain, which I thought we would get, but we didn't. Plenty of destroyers, that's all good. Italy has a little while to do things, so I'm not sure I need to do much at the moment. I might send a fighter down here, just rebase it to Taranto. Almost like Toronto, which is a city in Canada, but it's actually Taranto. This unit is unflipped. See, I forgot a bunch of stuff from last turn. That is not uncommon for me. Should I ship a unit to North Africa? I'll probably do that. Let's go with these guys. Just down the strip you go. And that means that we get ourselves a used marker on the transport. Germany, everything is fine. Everything is calm and quiet. We don't really do much here. If there are there's going to be messes in Spain, aren't there? So which type of unit should we send over there? I can do a rebase of an aircraft like that. And we could move like that. And I do have the tanks and Aachen here that I could send to Kiel as well. A simple rail. So now I have a choice of what I might want to do, and if anything ever happens in Madrid, I have a feeling things are going to happen in Madrid, because I don't think that the Allies could put up with Spain joining the Axis for free like that. That would be bad for them. Meanwhile, did I do the reinforcements? I probably forgot. I forgot to do the reinforcements because my head is not where it should be. Okay, here we go. I don't need coffee, you need coffee. What was the decision for our wonderful Soviets? Okay then. I now know. We're gonna put this guy... Oh, look. Oh no, we have 2 infantry already in Vladivostok. And all the aircraft we can cram in. I'm gonna put this guy in Irkutsk. And did we have any reinforcements coming in for anyone else? Nope! There was only the Soviet reinforcement. Okay. So, Soviets get to do 1 naval move, 5 land moves. Okay. Yeah, I really don't think we're going to do any more land moves than that. Except, of course, we're going to move this guy here, which is forest in the Pacific. 3 points. It has 3 points. It's not flipped. Yay. Yeah, those guys can't really move any further. The Chinese... I'm really lost in the turn here because I'm doing one thing after another. China here has 2 moves, and we'll move 1 like this and 1 like that. That seems like a bit of a safer bet, really. Otherwise, not much happening there. Japan, on the other hand, 1 step. I can rebase this aircraft over here. Oh, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Up you go. And then down you go, because you're going to step ashore in Port Arthur, aren't you? That's 1 step, 2 steps, and how about 3 steps? We need to keep the garrison rating up here so that the Soviets don't get any silly ideas. Alright, that's going to be it for the Axis. Back to the Allies again. China will do nothing over here because there's no more units to move. The Soviets will move this guy over here. It's a long way to go. And why not move these guys here, including Zhukov. Zhukov is out here. That's aggressive, isn't it? That is 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. this air transport here isn't doing much good. If there is a civil war breaking out in Spain, we all know there's going to be sooner or later, don't we? Then we need to have some oomph here. So I'm going to rebase that air transport. But I'm also going to send this one by rail to Leningrad, just in case. Why don't we move this guy as well? One step. All right, so now France doesn't really have anything else to do there. Unless we want to send... Nah, we don't have much forces to play around with, do we? Commonwealth can send a couple of ships. Why don't we send these guys to Canada? We're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. If they're based in Canada, they can do excellent convoy duty out there. It's either that or sending them to India, but a war with Japan at the moment does not seem terribly likely. France... Should France send the mortar? Maybe a destroyer. Let's go. Destroyer group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. They are in the Western Mediterranean. And that is it for the Allies' second impulse. We go to the Axis' second impulse. And we move some stuff. 1. What's mountains in Pacific? 3. Okay. 2. 3. Then I can rail these guys to Harbin. Why would I want to rail these guys to Harbin? Oh, because there's a bunch of Soviets up there. And that's a bit scary. We can move 2 ships. Can we move more than 2 ships? Japan can move 2 ships on a combined. Alright, so... we have a couple of good ones here. Let's go with these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, apparently. Fuso and Yamash are now in the South China Sea. It's just a drill, guys. It's just a drill. No need to worry about anything. Tokyo still has some naval forces in the bay. And what else do we want to do here? I think Italy is fairly satisfied at the moment with how things are. We're gonna need that transport back. Italy needs more transports. That's all there is to it. You know what? That transport could be here instead. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. And that way it can return to base in Taranto for next turn. That's a much better idea. Alright, so that's basically it for the Axis here. We go back to the Allies' first side impulse. Again, it's nice summer. No bad weather happening here. It's a long turn, is what I'm saying. I think France will stay as it is currently. I don't think it has much reason to do much of anything. The Commonwealth, should it send... it needs to protect all its convoys, right? And we have 1 destroyer here, and we have 2 Australian destroyers there, which is all good. We will need something in the Med, that's for sure. So let's send... It doesn't have a whole lot of ships, does it? The UK. Then let's send Lion and Tremere together with this destroyer here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We're gonna have some naval presence with the UK in the Med. Hi Malta. And that is basically it for the Allies at the moment. It means that we go back to the Axis. And at the end of this impulse, we can roll to end the turn. So we have a bunch of infantry there. We have a bunch of infantry there. Which means that this guy is just moving over here. And that's literally all that will happen there. And otherwise we are happy with how things look, basically. Oh, we didn't move this guy, did we? Forgot about that guy. Yeah. Slowly but surely moving towards... It's going to get flipped because it's going to so far away from a supply center. 1, 2, 3. No, it's not flipped because it hasn't spent more movement points than it needed, I think. Or maybe it is. Anyway, don't think it's going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things at the moment. What do we do know is that the Axis did not end the turn. Allies get a 4th impulse, so whoop. And I think that's basically what we like to see here. Could move this one there. These guys are not in supply until an HQ is up here and makes them in supply. So that's an important point to remember. No more troop movements, really. We've moved the things that we need to. Okay, let's see if the turn ends. It ended! Action phase is over, and the Allies did one more thing than the Axis, but it's not going to matter a whole lot because it's already on a +1 to the Axis, so go figure. We move on to the next phase of this. Initiative, weather, reinforcement, resource transportation, action segment, the other partisan phase. Roll a d6. Are there any partisans doing bad things? A 1. To the occupiers. Greece, Spain, Finland, France, Yugoslavia, Malaya, USA, India. So, no. We move on to... It's like Korea and Manchuria, I think that could... To do convoy attack phase, US interface. No democracy is at war with a non-democracy at the moment. That's not going to be a thing yet. Okay, we have money that's going to come in here, and we're going to build some stuff. $3 for production here for the US. And no mandatory build there. Do we have mandatory builds here? I don't know why it does that sometimes, just jumping out like that. Nope, that's in 2 years. That is soon, but not yet. Which means that we're going to build transports. The US had 1 ship last turn built. Oh, okay. We'll build a transport. Why did I shuffle that? There's no point. It's just 1 force. Anyway. There we go. Transport built. The Commonwealth has 8 money, 6 income, 14 money now. Any mandatory builds? Not there. And not there. So it will build 2 transports if it can. And it can. That is $8, so $6 left. $6 left. And troop transports constructed, because transports are the lifeblood of the Commonwealth, and we want to get all those resources coming in from, you know, the entire empire. France gets 4. So currently $9. Has no required builds there. Okay then. What did we build last time? We built infantry. With this kind of production situation, we could build an infantry and a fighter. So let's do that. That's $7. No, we're not going to do that, because there's still politics to be done. Alright, let's build a fighter this time. It's going to need them. We all know that much. So that is an aircraft built. Germany has still 8 production, 10 money now. And do we have any required builds? Nope. Not there either in the construction pool. Very well. So we want to build what? Infantry, fighters, tactical bombers. Everything is what we want to build. But I'm actually going to build a transport this time for Germany. Yes, you heard me. A transport for Germany. How often do we build ships for Germany? Not very often is the answer. But in this case, we do. $4. There's so many transports now coming down the pipeline here for all the various powers. Germany is not building an infantry, it is building a ship. Doesn't happen a lot, but yeah. Italy is just going to end up on 0 money and not build a thing because it's been active in Spain. And it paid off, didn't it? Spain is that much closer to joining the Axis right now as a republic, which is odd, but there we are. Okay. Let's see. The USSR has 4 money coming in. That means that it's at 8 money. And last turn it built what? To do 2 infantry. It can do that again. Well, I'm going to build 1 infantry this time. It's strange, isn't it, to see all this infantry? No, it's not. It's exactly the typical thing that the Soviets always do. Because they need every person in uniform they can get by the time things really kick off. That puts us to a single infantry this turn. Japan builds stuff. 6 per turn, has 8 money at the moment. Any mandatory builds? Nope, no mandatory builds. Not there anyway. We have mandatory builds here. Nope, not at all. Okay then. So Japan will build. What have we done here? We've done a transport. Marine. I feel like we might need another marine. But you know what? We also need another transport, don't we? Right now we are not getting the Taiwanese, the Formosan resource to Japan, which is bad. Yep, we'll build another transport. That is what we will do. There we go. They have a lot of transports in their pool for obvious reasons. Everybody's building transports, apparently. Except China, who is in fact, and the Soviets, who are in fact not building transports. China is building an infantry. Okay. Where did everything go? It just jumped around like crazy. Don't know why. And it's a 4-2. Nationalist. Worth it. So we will have then Japan with a ship. China has built an infantry. It's the first build of China at all this entire game. And that is where we're at when the production is over. Now we're going to do, I think it's the reorganization, return to base first, right? Return to base, indeed. So these two ships will return to Taiheku. And this one will go back to Tokyo. Over here, this ship goes back to Taranto. Nobody's surprised. We'll have this ship going to Marseille. These guys are going to Malta. And this guy is going to Marseille as well. And these guys are going to Canada. And oh, we have these guys. They're gonna go to Alexandria. Why not? All right, and that was it for that turn. Japan can now trade in the transport for a convoy next turn. Where are we? Here we are. And return to base, conquest, final reorganization. Okay, if anything is flipped, we have to unflip it. Look, something was flipped. Is anything flipped here? Apparently not. Looks to me like everything is... Oh, this guy will get flipped up. So that's where we are at the moment. All right, that was May and June. Very little happened politically or otherwise. I have a feeling that the powers that be will want to take action. Spain, that is... There's going to be a tug of war here. I predict. Tug of war in Spain. Between everybody. Because everybody will want to control it. How much money is going to be spent on Spain? On coup cells in Spain? Who knows? But the major powers will probably be fighting over Spain because it's a really potent miner to have under your sway. And sooner or later, those triggered coup cells are going to lead to a civil war. That's a prediction that is, I feel, is very safe to make. Yeah, Spain activated the miner. Italy activated the miner, and it was Spain. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is as far as we get for this time. Thank you very much for tuning in to another turn of World in Flames. Still, the world is not in flames. Everything is peaceful everywhere. I had expected to have at least one conflict happening right now, but we don't have that, do we? Because I rolled so low on the coup activation roll. Here we are. Still peace, love, and understanding everywhere in the world. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time with more news from the war table.